Hi everyone! Welcome to my brand new channel, Final Bit Gaming, in which I will be discussing video games and anime and just a bunch of nerdy culture with you here. And I figured what better way to start this than with a review of Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc for the PlayStation Vita. Danganronpa is a visual novel set in Hope's Peak Academy, a Japanese school that enrolls the top tier of students. It is said that if one attends this school, they will be guaranteed success no matter what they do in life. So yeah, the school is kind of a big deal. The story begins with our main character Makoto arriving at the gates of Hope's Peak Academy. Shortly after entering the school, he faints and wakes up to find he's been locked in the school with 14 other students. Each of the students is considered the ultimate in some category or another. These can range anywhere from the ultimate lucky student, which is Makoto, to the ultimate baseball star, which is Leon, a great character, or my favorite, the ultimate swimming pro, which is AoE. Once we've been introduced to all of our main characters, we meet Monokuma, the robot teddy bear. Monokuma reveals that every student was brought there to participate in a killing game. Ultimately, these students have to kill someone and get away with it in order to escape the school. If they get away with it, everyone else in the school will die. If they don't, they'll die. And if no one kills anyone, they will spend the rest of their lives in this school. So, now that we've got our basic premise out of the way, let's talk about what the game actually involves. There are three main sections to the game. The first is free time, the second is investigating, and the third is the trial. Free time, I would say, takes up roughly a third to half of the game, in which you are running around, you are learning more about the school, and you're learning about other characters. I found this to be a very stressful part of the game, because you get to choose who you spend your time with in a very Persona 4-esque way. The stressful part is that you know that these people could be killed at any moment, and you have no way of knowing who's gonna go. There were a few times where I decided that I wanted to befriend someone, only to have them show up dead in the very next scene. There's really no clue as to who's gonna be murdered for the most part, and that makes the whole game very tense and stressful, and very hard to put down. It's been a long time since I've really sat down and immersed myself in a game, but with Danganronpa, I was lost. I beat this roughly 20-hour game in about 4 days, which is really good for me, and that's a lot of playing. I just realized how much I played this game. Additionally, all of the characters are extremely well developed and unique, and they start out as these archetypes, but there's so much more to them than that. And you want to get to know them all, but you know you can't because your free time is limited before things go wrong and people die, and then you have to move on to investigating. I also really love the investigative aspect of this game. Basically, you discover a body, and then everyone has to go around and find clues and figure things out before the actual trial begins. And there's a lot of really unique twists in here, and it was just really fun getting to hear what the other characters said and sort of try to piece everything together. Once you've investigated for a bit, everyone will gather in this room for the judgment part of the game. These judgment parts, or trials, involve some different types of gameplay, from mini-games like Wheel of Fortune, fill in the blanks, to a rhythm game. These trials are varied, and they have different stages, and they're all thrilling and full of twists that I didn't see coming, most of them anyway. Now, the trial sections of the game unfortunately aren't perfect. I found some of the descriptions on some of the evidence you could use to contradict people to be a little unclear, as I knew what I wanted to say and I knew the contradiction, but actually getting the game to register that contradiction proved to be a bit of a challenge sometimes. This was often due to the wording of certain truth bullets, as they're called, and I felt like maybe a bit more description or different conversation cues would have helped in getting that point across. At the end of everything, once you've figured out the case and you know who murdered people, you are led to this closing argument section. And this part I feel like could have been left out. It's not bad by any means, but you're basically retreading the material you just covered. Unfortunately, it's also not the clearest, and you have to fill in these sections of a comic strip, but it's not exactly clear always what's going on in the little icons you can see, as they only reveal a very small portion of the actual frame that you're putting in. Once I figured out you could click on the question marks on the frame to tell you exactly what to look for, it became a lot easier, but I felt like a bit more clarity could have been used in these sections. So that's the general gist of the gameplay. Now I want to talk a bit about the story. The story was fantastic. It unfolded in such a great way where I was always on the edge of my seat, and I just wanted to learn more and more about the school and the characters I was spending time with. It's well written, and I can't really think of any faults to it. And it was funny, guys. There's so much comic relief in this, but even someone like me who doesn't like comic relief in most cases, I laughed. There were so many times in tense situations where I would just burst out laughing because the situations were so ridiculous and the character reactions were so great. And I loved it. There's just so much good in this game. Overall, I would highly recommend Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc to anyone who owns a Vita and who's looking for a good story. It is a visual novel, so you're going to be reading most of the time, but it's worth it. And I think it's a great introduction to the unique things that the Vita has to offer in the gaming market, considering it's such an underrated handheld system. I'm also excited because I have the second one sitting on my shelf there, and I'm kind of sad it took so long to play this one, because, I don't know, I feel like I want to take a little bit of a break from it, but it's sitting there waiting to be played, and I don't know if I'll be able to hold off on that. So I'll be sure to review that one whenever I get around to actually playing it. Thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. It was the first one on this channel. I really had a lot of fun here, and I will see you guys with a new review or discussion soon. Alright, stay fancy. Take care. I'll see you around.